Hello and welcome to the first edition of rideXdrive. I'm your host Xavier, and on this episode I'm going to take you inside the 2019 North American International Auto Show in Detroit. In this video, I'll give you an overview of the two most exciting cars revealed during the show, the 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500 and the much talked about 2020 Toyota Supra. Ford gave us a bit of nostalgia by bringing a host of past Shelby GT500 models to the stage. Each model represented an evolution in the GT500 history. Ford also injected a bit of technology into their display with an interactive VR drive and the new GT500 before they eventually and literally brought the roof down. Ford is calling their 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500 the most powerful street-legal Ford ever. While both Chevrolet and Dodge have had Camaro and Challenger vehicles with high horsepower outputs for a couple of years now, Ford has largely stayed out of this horsepower competition with their newest generation. But that all changes now with the new GT500. Ford estimates this new Mustang will have over 700 horsepower, and that puts it on par with the 707 horsepower the Hellcat makes and ahead of the 650 horsepower that the Camaro ZL1 makes. The double front grille offers 50% more airflow versus the Shelby GT350, and the style in the standard Mustang you get the angular LEDs and the snorting nose, and Ford says that the entire grille and hood were both inspired by fighter jets. A large 31 by 28 inch hood vent has an aluminum tray that is removable, which allows for better airflow and downforce, and the entire design is geared towards increasing performance and downforce. Ford is not just concentrating on big horsepower and going fast in a straight line. They're combining next-generation active MagneRide suspension that has the ability to make 1,000 adjustments every second while trading information with the brakes and the powertrain. With larger springs, updated steering, and Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, they're saying the GT500 is capable of delivering the highest ever lateral acceleration of any Mustang. So there'll be two packages available. Each one of those packages will have an increased level of performance. There's a handling package, which basically adds strut top mounts and a spoiler with a gurney flap. But the cool package is the carbon fiber track package, which adds these amazing 20-inch exposed carbon fiber wheels that are half an inch wider in the rear and wrapped in Sport Cup 2 Michelins. There's also a carbon fiber wing from the GT4 Mustang and an option to delete the rear seats for reduced weight. The braking is done by 16.5-inch rotors up front with 6-piston Brembo calipers, and in the rear there are 14.6-inch rotors clamped by 4-piston calipers. But regardless of how much Ford tries to emphasize the track capabilities of this new GT500, no doubt the most interesting part of the Shelby GT500 is its supercharged 5.2-liter aluminum alloy hand-built V8. The 2.7-liter Eaton supercharger that pulls 12 psi is very similar to the one that's found on the Corvette ZR1. The block has wire arc cylinder liners and aluminum cylinder heads that save weight with beefier forged connecting rods. The structural oil pan contains passageways that open and close depending on the G-forces, and this allows the oil to stay in place so it doesn't starve the engine. Power is delivered via a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission and a carbon fiber draft shaft that's connected to a limited slip differential. The dual-clutch is the only transmission available, but it changes gears in less than 1/10 of a second, and that's faster than anyone can change in a manual. It also changes character depending on which drive mode is selected, and line lock and launch control are also both available. Moving to the interior, the instrument cluster is a 12-inch full-color LCD. There's an 8-inch touchscreen display with Ford Sync 3 software, SiriusXM, and Ford Pass Connect. The door panels are lined with suede. Optional Recaro seats have pass-throughs for a safety harness. Power adjustable seats are also available. They are also lined with suede, and a 12-speaker B&O Play audio system is available in case the V8 and 5-inch exhaust don't make enough noise for your liking. Ford claims that 0 to 60 times will be about 3.5 seconds and quarter-mile times will be less than 11 seconds, so this thing should be plenty fast. Pricing has not been announced yet, but expected to be somewhere in the $70,000 range, if not more. Moving from domestic to import, the 2020 Supra was likely the most anticipated or overhyped vehicle of the show, depending on whether or not you were Team A90. Strolling the internet, I have never seen so much hate for a vehicle. Possibly understandable. Toyota did make us wait a long time for this vehicle, and having it be based on BMW's cluster architecture really didn't help with enthusiasts. But nonetheless, it is here and has been unveiled with the help of Fernando Alonso, who is currently with Toyota's Gazoo Racing, and they are frankly dominating right now in world endurance racing. So the 2020 GR Supra is the first global car developed by Toyota Gazoo Racing, hence the name and the GR badging that can be found on the new Supra. I admit the styling is very polarizing and some folks will love it and others will find it to be overstyled. I happen to fall into the group of people that love it. I particularly like the way that it looks from the rear 3/4 angle and in this Phantom matte gray. The bulges and the lines all work to give a really highly aggressive and purposeful look. Going on sale in summer of 2019, all 2020 US Supras come with a BMW sourced 3-liter turbocharged inline-6 that has been tuned by Gazoo Racing, and the engine produces 335 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque. Now, a 4-cylinder is going to be available in the Japanese market, and it's possible that it may come to the US, but there's no clear word on that right now. An 8-speed automatic transmission is currently the only transmission available. I know everyone's been dying to hear whether or not Toyota's going to come out with a manual for it, but right now the 8-speed is the only transmission that we're getting, but it's possible somewhere down the road that there will be a manual transmission available. Adaptive suspension, active rear differential, and launch control are all standard. Toyota says the Supra can accelerate from 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds and can handle on par with the Porsche Cayman, which was a benchmark when Gazoo Racing was tuning it. It has a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, 19-inch forged alloy wheels, ride on 255/35 Michelin Pilot Supersport tires up front, and 275/35 Michelin tires in the rear. Brembo 4-piston calipers clamp 13.7-inch rotors up front, and they provide the majority of the stopping power. The front styling carries over well from the FT1 concept. The nose is still pointed in the F1 style, but there's an addition of a middle grille instead of the two that were on the FT1 concept. I love the headlights with the 6 LED lenses and the long LED running strip in the front. They add a truly unique look to the assembly. If there's one critique to the styling that I may have, is that I could do without the overuse of some of the fake vents that are scattered throughout the vehicle. I wish Toyota would have, at least in the rear, used real vents instead of fake vents, but nonetheless it still looks good. And the rear taillights I also love. They have a nice kind of understated aggressive look. There are 2 available grades. There'll be the 3.0 and the 3.0 Premium. The Premium gets a larger 8.8-inch touchscreen display versus the 6.5-inch display that's in the base model. That comes with navigation, something Toyota is calling Super Connect telematics services, wireless Apple CarPlay, 12-speaker JBL audio system, and wireless phone charging. There's also an available heads-up display as well as heated leather-trimmed seats. Prices will start likely at $50,920 for the 3.0 and $54,920 for the 3.0 Premium. Both models have the option to add the driver assist package, which is $1,195, and this essentially just adds the adaptive cruise control and blind spot monitoring and some other safety features. Looking at the interior, you can see many elements that are from the BMW vehicles that the Supra is heavily based on, in particular the iDrive system. Toyota does try to go out of their way to add their own unique graphics to the Supra, but anyone that's ridden in a modern BMW can look at this interior and tell that Toyota essentially used the BMW interior in the Supra. But I will say I don't mind it. I'm happy that they have physical buttons. I know a lot of other companies like Audi have moved to almost predominantly touchscreens, and I'm just not a big fan of the touchscreen movement. I love having the physical buttons. I think it's less distracting when you're driving. So I'm glad that they went with BMW on this one because BMW is one of the few companies that still offers physical buttons in some of their newer vehicles. Toyota will also be offering a special launch edition version for the first 1,500 Supras produced in the US. These versions will be based on the 3.0 Premium, and they'll start at $56,180. The easiest way to distinguish these versions from the other ones is because these versions will have red mirrors, as you can see here. I'm sure, there's going to be a lot of people in the automotive community that will continue to hate on the 2020 GR Supra for one reason or another. But honestly, in an industry that's increasingly becoming dominated by small trucks and SUVs, I'm glad that Toyota revived the Supra name with a sports car that is sure to be a driving pleasure. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next video where we will be doing a first look of the Subaru S209. We hope to bring you more videos just like this one and in the future car reviews. So if you like the channel and you're excited for some of the content that we may be putting out, remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon.